Hey, I'm going to give an example of meta prompting. Now, you could do this with prompting between tools, prompting from one thing to another type of thing. So, for example, from ChatGPT to Reusable to produce images, especially when you're not sure if there's specific instructions or parameters that it needs, then you can use one to try and help you build that. But for this, I'm just gonna have a go at using ChatGPT. I'm just going to use ChatGPT to make a prompt for itself, basically. So one of the good things about having a really decent prompt is that becomes a template for the future. So I'm just going to use an example here, and I'm just going to make this up as I go along. Basically, is I want a prompt for scripting or making a YouTube video. So obviously the one I'm making now has not been prepared in any way. So I'd want a prompt to give ChatGPT to tell me, give me everything I need for a YouTube video on a particular subject. Now, if I do that just now, give me a prompt, give me everything I need to make a YouTube video about subject X. It's not going to be as good. So you're not going to get as much direction, and it's going to be a lot of back and forth. What this basically does is just condense down what would be that back and forth and also make it reusable. So I'm just going to start with something pretty straightforward and give this an instruction on what the type of prompt is going to be, and we'll just go from there and see how it goes. You are a prompt expert who is going to help me build a prompt for creating scripts and anything else that's needed for a YouTube video. So you'll please help me with all the necessary information in that. So to start with, can you suggest at least some of the topics that prompt should cover? So I'm also using Whisper Flow just to make it quicker than actually using me typing. So I'm just starting with the beginning of not knowing anything about anything, and I can start building up from here and build up my knowledge through ChatGPT or your AI of choice. Okay, so these are the types of things it may cover. And what's important is it'll basically start giving you ideas and things you hadn't even thought to include or ask about with this. Now, I'm not going to go through all of this as if it's real, just to give you an example of what you would start with and start delving into to make changes here. So I've got some personal examples thrown in here because I've got memory switched on for ChatGPT, so it knows some of the stuff I do work on. So I'm just going to be very, very lazy. This is like the ultimate of lazy, and just tell it to choose some things and then give me the prompt from the examples above. Please just choose what you think would be the best for me in each of the items and then give me the full prompt template. So I'm already thinking of it as a template. So therefore something I want to reuse again and again. If you spend too long on this, then it may not be worth it for just a one-off. But if you're wanting to get the quality of your prompt better, then just quickly doing anything like this would improve it quickly. Okay, so here's my prompt. So I've got some things to fill out here, the type of things that I want to actually be. And these are also the kinds of things you could go back and forth on what you want to do. Like maybe I ultimately just want to be this really nailed down and simply just change the actual topic idea. In fact, I'm going to do that now. Just to have an example prompt to try out. Okay, can you just pre-fill out some of the options to use as an example prompt and give it the topic of 3D printing for beginners. So hopefully it'll just give me the template again, but a very specifically filled out one as a prompt to throw in. So then I could use this in, say, Claude or again in ChatGPT. And of course, me coming up with this entire prompt every single time, or something this extensive, would be pretty exhausting, but this is pretty thorough and contains a lot of things that I may not have even thought of going from the beginning of creating something for my next YouTube video. Okay, all done. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is copy this. This is then going to become my prompt in the new place, and I could, like I said, I could just throw this in, like say Claude instead of ChatGPT. Now I'm just going to run this, see what it does. Now it's possible if I'd just given it the topic and say, give me a guide on YouTube or YouTube script, it may give something extensive, but it's just doing a lot of guesswork. At least now you know what it should already be delivering, and you can have a guiding hand of that. So it's already given me the script. And now it's not just the direct content of the script itself, hopefully. Things like length I could adjust in the template. But the main thing is also all the other things that I wouldn't necessarily have thought about or wouldn't think about every single time to ask. Okay, so that's giving me a list of titles to use already. The description to put in, so you've spoken about a fully extensive list of step-by-step of everything you want to do. And like I said, you'd give it more and more details, so then it could fill in those details as well. It's all about cutting out the repeatable work. And at the same time, you can make it more and more personal to you about your things. I mean, this is already adding great topics and very much things that are tied to me because it's using background memory on me from having used ChatGPT a lot. Music, B-roll, voiceover. So it gave lots of optional things. So look, thumbnail concept as well. And I could probably get it to actually generate something if I want to, as like a concept work, or maybe even get it to generate a prompt from this to give to another better tool like Veo. So hopefully that gives you some idea on the kind of thing you can do. Like I said, if you look at this as like just substituting in the topic or whatever, you can turn this into a reusable template and just something that you can keep working on over time to make better and better. And this is just something I just threw up in a couple of minutes without having any idea at all. So obviously this would require a bit more research and guidance, and maybe get it to go out and find expert opinions on what is what's the best results from the thing that you're trying to get as well. So you tailor that to making it your own, along with combining it with what other experts have done with it. Hope you find that useful. And basically that's the idea of meta prompting. You're using an LLM to actually create prompts